Tatum Bethune racked up some tackles at UCF. The last time we saw him was on the field in a pretty minor bowl game usually, but it was a packed house, and it was kind of a different affair against Florida. It was pretty exciting with a couple Florida teams in a bowl game against each other, and UCF won the game 29-17, and Bethune had a nice game against the Gators, but he's headed to Tallahassee.
He is. This was a big one. Florida State, as we've talked about it many, many times on the show, Florida State needs linebackers, and so this is a big-time pickup there, not only just to help depth, but he's going to be thrown into the fire immediately, I believe. You can use him at Mike. You can use him all around, honestly. He's got some size on him, too, but Florida State needed this. I was told pretty early on that Florida State was in a good spot to land him. I think the connection between Sabbath Joseph and Randy Shannon helped a ton in this, but not only that, from what I was told, is the linebacker corp with not Rob Deloach, but Kalen Deloach, not his dad, but Kalen Deloach, along with Gaynor, Lundy, and some others, really helped in the decision making for Tatum, because he spoke with them. He was on campus. He's been on campus. I know there's been some reports that he just arrived today. That's not true. He's been around in Tallahassee a little bit. We talked about it in the Discord last night, but he's been around. I think this was didn't take long for him to make his decision, from what I was told a couple of days ago. So that's why I felt really confident about putting in my 5 out of 5 prediction for Florida State to land him a couple of days ago. So Florida State lands a guy that you need to fill depth there and play immediately. He's got experience, and like you had just said, was the leading tackler in that game against Florida. He's going to bring violence, which you like. He's got size and he can move. So I think he's going to be a really solid addition to Florida State. Much needed get. And this is Randy Shannon. Randy Shannon's going to be his first season as the linebackers coach at Florida State. So already starting off hot there. But Sabbath Joseph, his connection there in Miami too. I know Miami, there was some talk maybe of Miami being in the mix. I don't think there was much to that at all. I think Florida State was really in the lead and was gone and took them. So Florida State, good grab for the Noles and the defense for next season.
So Bethune had a decent season 2 years ago in 2020, 57 tackles, then really exploded this season in 2021, 108 tackles. You don't see a whole lot of guys across the country rack up 100 stops in a season. He had 5.5 tackles for loss, picked off a couple passes, had 2 sacks. And so, nice addition there for Florida State. And he's played a lot of football, 28 games under his belt, so he knows what's going on and knows what he's doing on defense. Yeah. All right. It could be a really good week with Jared Verse out there from Albany. That would be another enforcer on defense.
Yeah, no, this is the biggest of them all. You lose Jermaine Johnson, you lose Keir Thomas, and you immediately think, oh my good God, what is going to happen? Because Florida State's defensive line group as a whole and the pass rush was a whole complete 180 from the year before with Corey Durden. You had Marvin Wilson, and you had a few guys on the outside there that just didn't seem like things were clicking this year. Although, a complete, like I said, a whole different direction with Keir Thomas, who was a stud. Jermaine Johnson was the name that everybody got to see on TV and everything, but Keir Thomas was a menace last year. So losing both of these guys is a killer. But how do you fix that? You go straight after Jared Verse, and that's something Florida State did right away. They made sure to set up a plan for him to get into Tallahassee, and I thought they've done a really good job in building that connection and relationships. One of the biggest things, from what I was told from a source a couple of days ago, that the conversations between Keir and Jermaine Johnson is what might end up seal it for Jared Verse and him picking Florida State. There's expectations that there's a potential that he'll be announcing tonight. It was supposed to be sometime today, and I think it's going to be one of those nighttime kind of announcements. No shocker there. This makes it just so much more fun, so we can just stress about it all for the rest of the day. This makes it way more fun. And so I've already gotten 50,000 messages about it. I put in my predictions into the Discord if you guys want to go check out where I think Jared Verse is going. But I think Florida State's done a really good job. They've done about everything they can. I think it is between Florida State and Tennessee here. But I think there's a lot of media outlets that have zero clue. But from what I was told, there's some positives for Florida State here. You guys can go check that in the Discord. But this would be a big time transfer portal grab. I mean, if you look around the country, he's a top 5, even top 3, top 2 even talent in that transfer portal now. I know Caleb Williams, I mean, that erased Jared from taking that number 1 spot, but for a while, Jared's been up there. He's fast, he's quick, he can get to the quarterback, extremely athletic for his size too, and he'd be your day 1 starter whenever he steps foot in Tallahassee. So we're going to keep an eye out here. It's going to be like the ball dropping. It's going to be like, this is going to be better than New Year's, hopefully, for Florida State fans this evening.
So when you say Albany and you're talking college football, nobody's going to get too excited, but obviously people have scouted this guy and the people that know from watching the games, from watching him on tape, discarding the opponents, they know what they're looking at on tape. And that's why you've got all these other programs going after him. And I was actually just going to look up Albany's football schedule just to see if I could see anybody on there. I know they played Syracuse this year. And
yeah, no, he's the one thing about him that I noticed right off the bat is just quick as hell. I mean, he is so fast and makes it is the level of competition he's playing against, but it goes to show he can bring that to, the competition, the ACC and Florida State's future opponents. The thing that I noticed, this man, I forget which play it was. There might have been 2 of them where he was out beating the defensive backs to the ball. I mean, just absolutely going down and flying down the field to tackle guys, which is extremely impressive. But that's something that we saw with Jermaine Johnson. I think Jermaine's a bigger guy, but 2 athletic builds, and Jared Verse is very fast. I suggest anybody to go check out his film while you can. But this is definitely maybe a good night for FSU. We'll see, unless things change. I know people are worried, and I can definitely understand that. It's not a commitment that these transfers don't talk that much. Dustin talked with him on Monday, I believe, and talked about doing a commitment interview, and Verse was down to do a commitment interview. And after that, he's kind of been silent to every outlet from what I've been told and talking to sources and such. So that's kind of just how it is. It's been quiet on Tennessee's side. It's been quiet on Florida State's side. I feel confident on what I'm hearing and regarding the relationship built at Florida State, and if that will pave the way to having an announcement tonight to go in Florida State's favor. So I just need him to do this a little bit sooner. Let's not do this like really too late, because I'd like to hit the sack a little bit earlier so I can get rid of this whatever is on me right now.